What's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Disney Q&A. So today we're going to be warping to the Magic Kingdom, and this is a really interesting, whoops, we're stuck. We're going to be talking about some really interesting questions, and the last one I think is one we've talked about before, but I think it could be coming to reality. So we're going to start off with the first question here. So, obviously the history of Disney with video games has not been good. What are your thoughts on Disney buying Minecraft? Alright, so there's a little bit of a problem here. So this was a rumor back in the day that Disney could buy Minecraft, and that is not going to happen, at least not anytime soon. Really Minecraft's owner or developer, Notch, sold the game to Microsoft. So Microsoft, I don't see them selling Minecraft anytime soon. So, unless something crazy happens where Disney decides to, or either buy out Microsoft or get the deal from Minecraft, I just don't see that happening. So should Disney buy Minecraft, it would be cool, but I don't see that happening. And the way Disney's track record with video games is, I don't see it happening anytime soon. So the next question is a good one. So we're going to warp to Echo Lake, because in Disney's Hollywood Studios, there's always been rumors about this area at Chinese Theater. I think I can warp there. Alright, maybe not. So we're looking at Echo Lake, and this question is, thank you for all the videos, TDL. Thank you for your knowledge and insight on Disney, and it's lacking today. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So the question is, should Disney replace Echo Lake? There was rumors when Star Wars Land and the expansion was coming that they were going to either put Indy theming back there, Indiana Jones, or Star Wars would go there. So in the next version of Disney's Hollywood Studios, could you see them putting Echo Lake on the chopping block? I'd love to know your thoughts. Thanks. So that's a great question. So I am one of the people that, as much as I hate to admit it, I'd actually be okay with that. Indiana Jones is a great stunt show, but if it comes at the sacrifice instead of losing Muppets, I'm okay with that. Because I think one of the next two areas to go in Disney's Hollywood Studios, this whole area back here, right? You've got Grand Avenue, the whole back corner of Muppet Vision and Star Tours, and of course the Backlot Express and Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. This entire area could just get blown up tomorrow and people would be okay with it. And I would hate to see that, but I could see it. It is a reality. And, it's one of those things I wouldn't be happy with, but it's one of the things I could accept. Like I said, it depends on how far and how vast they go, because think about it. I mean, Muppets in its own area back there, that's a whole land in itself. You add in Tatooine Traders and Star Tours, that is a really big amount of space. Then you add the Backlot Express, and then you add Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, which is a huge theater and a ton of space behind it. That is an area that is really a perfect spot for Disney to add at least 2, maybe even 3 different themed lands in Disney's Hollywood Studios. And I hate to say it, I could really see it happening. Now the question is, let's say they added 3 different lands from all this space back here. What 3 lands would you want to see? So obviously the Muppets inside of me is saying, I want Muppets. Give me more Muppets. So keep the Muppets area. That's one land there. Redo the Muppets, put in great moments in Muppet history, right? The Great Muppet Movie Ride. Add that back there. Star Tours and the Backlot Express probably could be their own land. And I don't like the idea of Zootopia, but I think Zootopia could be an interesting fit here. So you add, you maybe blow up this whole area, redo this whole area. You add a Zootopia restaurant and the Big Dark Ride. I think that would be really good capacity, and in terms of just new stuff in this corner, adding a Zootopia land would probably be a good fit back here. And then for Indy, there's rumors we're going to see Indiana Jones coming to Animal Kingdom. And if that's the case, well, now you don't need to add Indy back here or replace Indy with Indy. So now this is the one that's kind of interesting, because this is one where maybe Disney could be looking ahead, or they could be looking back in the past. And you may be asking yourself, the Diamond Line, what are you talking about? So what I'm thinking for this area, if they're going to look ahead, look at the next couple movies that could be coming up for Disney, and what does Disney think could be the next big princess? Maybe you add that land back here, because that's been a rumor. Disney doesn't have enough, princess-themed attractions in Hollywood studios. That's been one of the criticisms of Hollywood studios, is the fact that people tend to skip Hollywood studios because there's no, really they have the Elsa show, but that closed. There's no Moana, there's no Encanto here. So that's something where maybe Disney could look ahead, and before that big princess movie comes out next, add that land back here. Like I said, it's a risk. It's something that Disney doesn't typically do. At least they used to do that, and that way when it was popular, the land was already opened. But I think that would be interesting. You even look at over here. I mean, this used to be the Monster Sound show. This is, I think, what is it now? I think, is it still the Frozen? Yeah, this is still the Frozen themed show over here at the Hyperion Theater. And then you've also got the Mickey Shorts Theater, which is over here, which I think used to be Superstar Television. So you consider these two, sound stages here. You consider all the areas back there, plus this, the entirety of Echo Lake. If you redid that, I mean, I would hate to see Gertie go, but imagine the amount of space Disney could get with all of this. There is so much untapped potential back here. And yeah, I mean, as much as we talk about Animation Courtyard, I mean, honestly, there is so much more space and potential back here by Echo Lake in Disney's Hollywood Studios ripe for expansion. But I'd love to know what you guys think of that, if that's something you would like to see, or would you like to see them prioritize fixing Animation Courtyard? Because obviously this area is in all kind of shambles, right? And you've got Launch Bay back here, the Disney Junior show, and the new Voyage of the Little Mermaid, which is coming in the fall. I mean, this area is also primed for something in Hollywood Studios, and I hate to say it, I think Disney's Hollywood Studios is going to see a major shift with a bunch of themed lands over the next decade. Right now they're finishing up with Epcot and working on MK, potentially with, Big Thunder Mountain and things like that, but when that's done, I think Hollywood Studios is going to see another similar shift like we saw in 2016, where they took out the Backlot Tour, they took out Streets of America, the whole back area, Lights, Motor, Action. I could see them doing something similar to that here in the Echo Lake area, but that's more, we're looking at like 2030, 2035. We're probably looking at 10 years before we see anything like that. But I'd love to know what you guys think. What would you like to see in Echo Lake? So somebody had asked me another kind of a personal question. So, I'm hoping to go to Disney World in 2025. It seems like it could be a slow year for Disney with Epic Universe opening in Universal. When do you think could be the slowest time for Walt Disney World? So this is a tough question because, back in the day, there was always the, in early September, late August, when kids go back to school. That is probably the only one that I would still say stands in terms of slow seasons in Walt Disney World. And even that, it is still fairly busy. Last year I went to Disney the first week of December, which is classically known as a slower time in Disney. The week after Thanksgiving, people went on break and things like that. That is usually a good time to go. But even when I went, it was still fairly busy. That whole week I was at Disney World. So, there is no such thing as a true slow season. I would recommend, in terms of like a time of year, I would say the summer, as long as you could bear the heat of Orlando in July and August. August is a fairly slow month at Walt Disney World, but like I said, it is very, very hot, and that's part of the reason it's a slower month at Walt Disney World. It's a great question though. What is the best Epcot festival? I'm hoping to go to Disney World in 2026. Oh man, you're really looking ahead there. What are your thoughts on the festivals? So I will say I've been to the Festival of the Holidays last year, and it was incredible. I mean, obviously, Christmas time at Disney is always good. I have to admit, the festival of the holidays, between the snacks and the treats and just the entertainment with the Santa actors in all of the different areas, is incredible. And telling the story of Christmas from that country's perspective, incredible. I love that. And that's something that, if I were to recommend, I would say the festival of the holidays. But obviously, a lot of people like the food and wine. It seems like that's become a little bit overhyped recently, but a lot of people like that area as well. And then the last question today, this is a really loaded question, but there's been rumors that they're going to be doing something at the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln in Disneyland. And you guys asked me, apparently there's permits that they're going to put a rotating table in the middle of the show theater. Could they be potentially adding a Walt Disney animatronic at Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln in Disneyland? I think it's a real possibility. There's always been thoughts about this, whether Disney should add a Walt Disney animatronic, and I think Walt Disney was always the man to say he never wanted it to be about him. And I think that the idea of adding an animatronic kind of goes against what I think Walt would do. But, I mean, that is a great way to pay homage to Walt. And I am going to say that has to be the best animatronic in the entirety of all the Disney parks. Disney has to pull out every single stop, and no cost cutting, no budget on that animatronic, because if you are going to do something like that, you cannot short step it any single bit, because every single person that has seen Disney or knows about Disney across the entirety of the world is going to want to see that animatronic. And I can tell you right now, that is the perfect place to put it, right there in Main Street. You've got Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, but Disney better be on their A game with that animatronic. I think that is an incredible idea, but the hype and the expectations are going to be huge. And if it's one of those things that flops and Disney's not working most days and things like that, they'd be better off just not doing it. But if Disney's willing to go out on a limb and do something like that, I think it would be incredible. Again, this is all rumor. We don't know for certain. It could be they're just adding a rotation table in case the other Mr. Lincoln breaks down. I don't know. But it was an interesting theory that we were hearing in the Disney community a couple weeks ago. And that's a great question, by the way. I really appreciate that. And that's the last question for today. If you have any questions about Disney, MC Parks, Minecraft, any of that stuff, let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to answer it in a future video. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again next time.